This is Nia McGee with EURweb.com. Lydia, Suzie, Lexi, thank you for giving me your time to speak about the new season of RuPaul's Drag Race. Lydia, I don't know what's going on, but I'm loving it. I'm loving
Thank
all of this.
you.
Okay.
That's the reaction she usually gets.
It needs no explanation for me. It works. Okay.
Thank you.
And that kind of kicks off my first question for each of you. Let's start with Lydia. How would you describe your drag aesthetic and what sets you apart from the other queens this season?
I think there's a couple things that set me apart from the other queens of the season. I am super influenced by the 1920s and theater and acting and singing. I love alternative drag. I love to be spooky and weird and have hot glue strings showing. I love hodgepodge, but with that glamorous glue to sort of hold it all together.
And Suzie, I feel like you're giving me some retro too, some showgirl, what are those girls called on Broadway? They kick up their legs.
The Rockettes, baby.
The Rockettes.
Oh.
You're giving me Rockettes vibes. Suzie,
Well,
Yes.
what sets you apart from the other queens this season?
Well, that's definitely one of them. I'm a huge fan of the 1920s, of the flapper era, of that rebellious time for women where there was cropping their hair and raising their skirts. That's my big style reference. I say that I'm a cross between Betty Boop and Lucille Ball. And that's also in that I love comedy and I love acting and writing, and I love performing. And that's my zhuzh.
You know, if I can say this with compliments, you're also giving me Betty Davis eyes.
Thank you.
Yes. So work that in there, girl. Work that in there.
I will.
Lexi Love, I'm loving the hair. How would you describe your aesthetic on this new season and what sets you apart?
My aesthetic is a cross between America's Next Top Model and Victoria's Secret's nostalgic runways. And what sets me apart is my age. I am an old hag compared to these young, vibrant children, and it is annoying to say the least.
Well, I don't know how old you are. I wouldn't dare ask, but you look very young and fresh-faced. Stop it.
You.
So every season has a mix of personalities, right? So how would you describe the overall dynamic of this cast and how the dynamic impacts the competition?
Yes. So I think there is a deeply competitive nature to this season. I think perhaps more so than other seasons, where there's a fight and a fire, and everyone is so good that it really mattered to us who wins what and how we do. I think it's very much a sibling energy. There are casts that are families, but we are all siblings. We are all the middle child, desperate for attention.
I've been saying the drag is so different. It's so elevated, and everyone is completely different from one another. But I think it's also important because of the current state of the world we are in. There's a lot of scary things happening, and it's just important to have drag be this visible on television, especially on MTV, where it's easily accessible for every household to see. So I think it's just very important overall that this is happening.
Okay, so let me ask you each a fun question. If you were not contestants on the show, right, and you were at home watching the show, who would you be rooting for this season? Who would be your favorite queen this season?
That is so fierce.
We can't say ourselves.
No.
You know what? No, that's not fun. Don't say yourselves. Pick someone else.
I would say Suzie Toot.
Really?
No. No. Yeah, no. I would say Suzie Toot because from the get-go, I think that I was a Suzie Toot fan. Well, maybe an angry fan. Maybe it was very, very, very not. I was like, I hate her, but I love her so much. So I would be obsessed with Suzie Toot, no matter what.
Well, I am gonna say easily Lydia. I fell in love with Lydia's drag. Lydia is now in my top 3 favorite drag queens of all time. I think that I was just so inspired by this, not only not concealing raw edges, but showing the raw edges. And that is a consistent theme throughout everything she does. I think she's brilliant.
Lydia, almost feel like based on what you're presenting here today, you're the queen of queens, and you probably want to name yourself, but don't do it, girl. Tell me who would be your runner-up after
Right,
you? Who
okay.
would you be supporting
Okay.
on this show?
So I would say either someone like Lucky, just because that's my kind of drag. But if not Lucky, I would also have to say Suzie, just based on the promo and everything that has happened. You give me the kind of queen that I would want to root for. And you too, of course, Lexi, but I can't, I'm now gonna name everyone. I'm gonna name everyone.
I don't want you to root for me.
What advice would you give to the next generation of queens who want to be on this show?
Do drag every day. Just jump into it. Don't stop and find out what you like until you are good.
And how about you, Suzie?
Be inspired by anything that is not drag. Don't look at drag queens for inspiration. Search outside in the world, because that is what will make you unique and special.
I love that. And Lexi?
Don't give up. Like literally, there's so many people that's gonna tell you you're bad. There's so many people that's gonna say you're wrong. People are gonna say ill. People are gonna say nah. Every single one of those is like motivation to keep on trucking.
Right on. Beautiful.